Morning guys, CryptoMark back on the next KRC20 wallet tracking journey weekly update. I think we're up to about 43, 44 weeks solid in a row. Basically, if this first time you're here, situation is the tokens down the left are what were purchased for $10 to $12 there or thereabouts in the most part. Back end of last year, 2024 or early January, a couple of little different buys along the way. KRC20s were relatively new then. They came out in about September last year. So they've been out just about a year now. The usual decent success at the beginning in terms of the tokens, price volume, all that sort of stuff. And it's waned off a little bit now, if we're totally honest. The issue is, there was the issue with smart contracts coming for Kaspa. So you can buy tokens now on a different way on smart contracts, which is a different sort of way of doing it, versus these original KRC20s. But I still firmly believe there's value in them. Certainly in the top performing ones, on the top ones on KasFYI, which we'll have a look at in a minute. But as it stands, this is the journey and the price journey of said tokens down the left here that were purchased, like I've just referenced before. So a bit of a downward turn, the running totals at the bottom. Consistent for the most part, to be honest. We had a decent couple of spikes with some good performance by some tokens. Some have died off, as you can see, zero balances down here. Some others are still going and going strong. Overall cost was $280, I believe, yeah. We got back to that at one point along the way, very nearly there. But yeah, we did. We got back to it and above it, tiny little bit. So what that means is some tokens are doing extremely well and some have died. So the ones that are doing well outperformed. It's a bit like having like your FTSE or your S&P 500, where you have a bucket, a cumulative bucket of assets. Some do well, some don't. And what you hope is over the overall picture of all of them, or that they outperform what the cost basis was. Now you can clearly see that's not happening at the minute. Again, I don't think that's KRC20's fault. I don't think the fault can be levelled at KRC20 in general. I think all these projects were launched with the best of intention. Some of them are still going, they're just finding it hard, if I'm honest. Kaspa's price has halved in the last couple of months. Well, that flash crash we had a couple of weeks ago didn't help, but the price had been up to 11 cent and then come back down. It was hanging around the 9 cent for quite a while, 9 to 10, and then it basically halved. Or it went down to 1 cent in some places, but then went back to 5, and we're holding strong at about 5 cent. So all of these things are a knock-on effect. Obviously, the top asset, the underlying asset being Kaspa, if that's not doing particularly well price-wise, then none of the things that are underpinned on it will either. That's kind of just the way it goes. So we'll have a little look in general at KasFYI and things like that. Sorry, I'm a little bit disorganised this morning. I'm going away tomorrow and I forgot to check in. Been busy at work, but I've checked in now, so it's fine. So here we are, Kas, yeah, hanging about the 5 cent. I bought some more at about 4 something, and I've got some buy orders in case there's another flash crash, but I don't know that there will be, down to like 1 cent, 2 cent again. Got some buy orders in at a couple of cents, 3 cents, something like that. So you never know. You can live and hope that it drops at some point, and then gets bought up, and then obviously goes back up again. I think personally the price may just stay like this for another few weeks, and then hopefully start going back up again. The crypto market is all over the shop, really, isn't it? And I think the landscape's changed completely with the fact that these big institutions have got their hands on Bitcoin and ETH. I cannot see the likes of Bitcoin and ETH doing these massive drops like has been previous. I think they'll more or less just hold steady or come down a little bit perhaps, but you know, like the last bull run when it went from 60 grand American down to like 12 grand or whatever it was, I can't see that that's going to happen because it's underpinned by these massive institutions. People have got them in their pensions, all that kind of thing. So I think the whole landscape of crypto has changed. certainly for the top performing ones and the ones that have got ETFs anyway. The likes of Kaspa I can still see having a massive blow, going flying at some point when the real adoption comes in. Again, waiting game with crypto as ever. Do we waiting for Ghost Dag now in mid 2026? Is that the next major catalyst when it'll just absolutely take over and start doing wonders in crypto? I don't know. There might be something along the way. I'm not 100% sure, but the fundamental is that the fundamentals remain strong. It can do everything that any other crypto can do, better, quicker, cheaper. And what's important to people: safety, speed, cost, and it's got all them in it, wrapped up in a nutshell. Basically, it's up to 10 blocks per second now from May this year. It's going to go up to 35. It's going to go up to 100 at some point. So, it's just going to constantly evolve. So if you're ever sitting on the fence and thinking about getting in, not financial advice, but if you can get it for 5 cents versus what you could get it for 10 or 11 a couple of months ago, 5 cents a better bet, isn't it? But again, not financial advice. This is just my thoughts and my sentiments on things. Not encouraging anybody to follow suit. As always, you can do what you wish to do. Been some chat this week I've seen on the big wallet. There's a big wallet, mystery wallet, that for a long time believed to belong to Binance, and or Coinbase. I've seen muted about, but they've got like $54 million worth of Kaspa, and they've just been buying and buying and buying like crazy. So obviously, that's not the sign of a project going down the tubes that someone's buying that amount, in my eyes anyway. And obviously, yeah, there are Mexi and things have got a big holding of Kaspa as well. So have a look here and see what we've got going on. Zeal's down to $8.6 million market cap. Natural's dropped a little bit there, 6 million thereabouts. The others, Kaspa's had a big drop. That was 2.5 million not long ago. So I think it was over a million last week. It's down again. This is the same sort of thing though. These prices are coming down as well, and we spoke about that, the fact that if Kaspa goes down, these will go down. So like if you want in Kaspa, if you've got any feelings on these projects and you want any of these, then now might be a time to act. Again, not financial advice. Yeah, some good projects. Yeah, really good projects. Obviously, I've got the ones I've got. I might consider having the dabble in entering some more. This slow is interesting because this is Mr. Sompolski's Turtle. Now I know there's the KRC20 version. There's also a one on the newer smart contract sort of version, but that's up 11%. I've been keeping an eye on the price of this. It's in the top of the top 9 now. But yeah, I like the narrative of it and the image and stuff. Let's have a look on the social, see what the score is. Some volume going on here. I'm going to keep this relatively short this week, guys. Just got stuff going on, and obviously away tomorrow and stuff. Right, so let's have a look. Yeah, I think we've looked at this before, haven't we? Not, yeah, there's posting going on. Yeah, again, I'm just going to keep it on the radar, if I'm honest with you. It looks decent. Yeah, and other news, let's have a look on here while we're on, see what the sentiment is, what people are saying. I imagine they'll be talking about that wallet. Quite a lot of posts about Kaspa. New listing. Yes, Bybit.eu. Kaspa's been on Bybit for a while, but the .eu is obviously the European version of Bybit. Not allowed to have it in the UK, actually. I did have Bybit, then We weren't allowed to have it anymore. Some important balance. This is where you can vote. Don't know why that's just in there in the middle of nothing. Bybit EU. I like this. I love this. I've shown this before. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. Like comparison with Bitcoin. Basically, what it shows is a huge improvement with Kaspa's speeds and lost my microphone. Speeds and all of these down here. Kaspa's like a big improvement on the speed, but again, that's normal, isn't it? If something comes out like 10-15 years ago, then 10-15 years down the line, something else might have figured out what was a bit of a blocker, a bit of an issue, like speed, for example, and improved upon it. So but it's a good indicator to see Kaspa, and this is again a good visual indicator to show you the speed of transactions. So that's 10 blocks per second at the top, which is Kaspa. Solana's 2.5, and then there's 2, and Bitcoin's like really, really slow. If you've ever sent it, there it is at the bottom. If you've ever sent it anywhere, it is really, really slow. Ethereum, quite slow. Bit laborious. Litecoin, slow. And yeah, if you think that's 10 blocks per second and it's going to go 35, I think is the next update, that's just going to be a constant whiz across the picture there, isn't it? And when it gets to 100, and it's almost like you'll receive the money before it's sent. It sounds daft, but do you know what I mean? It'll be instantaneous. If you send Kaspa now between wallets, you'll see it as soon as you press the button, it's arrived at the other one that quick. So it's kind of, I liken it a little bit to TVs. Remember when like 1080p came out, full HD, and then 4K come out? You're kind of thinking, how much better can it get? But then 8K comes out, and it is better, but it's like it kind of only needs to be so good. There's going to be a point where it can't get any better, surely. But that's a nice sort of problem to have, isn't it, really? So, like, if you're not selling, here we go. Bitcoin was the Kaspa testnet. Again, that's alluding to the images I've just shown you before that. Major wallets keep adding more and more Kaspa to their holdings. Again, we spoke about this before. What do they know? What do they know? Obviously, they know something. So that's good. Again, what's this? October the 5th, Kaspa processed over 158 million transactions in a single day, nearly matching Bitcoin's total transactions for the entire past year. Again, that's just highlighting what we're talking about and how good it is, and it's just waiting for adoption. DAG Tech versus on-chain. Yeah, excellent, love it, all positive. There's Trump going to $5 one day, love it. Excellent. Okay, guys, I'm going to call it here this week. I'm away this weekend. Next one of these will be next week as per usual, and we'll see where we've moved to from there. Hopefully I've got internet access and everything. I've got new SIM cards and all sorts of stuff to use when I'm away, so if anything happens I can be reactive and keep on board, keep abreast of things. All right, guys, cheers. I shall see you next week.